That's all you really need, you know.
Yeah. They putting the bed covers on all of them?
I think so, yeah. Just secure gear, that kind of stuff,
sure.
you know, make the most of it.
Yeah, for sure.
You guys, pretty eventful night tonight. Anything good?
I guess the TPD has a bunch of shootings tonight, but those are kind of hard to
I'm sure,
navigate,
right?
You know what I mean? So,
well, you got lots of evidence, and they got to keep.
Well, they just put a big perimeter up, you know what I mean, and then they all stand in the middle of 15 of them and chit chat.
I used to do that work, so I know where the chit chat comes from.
Meanwhile, the guy's crossing in Nogales over the border at the time they're looking for him.
That's a whole other discussion right there. I'll tell you what. That's what we need.
Other than that, it's been pretty. Last night was really quiet.
Really?
Real quiet. Yeah.
It's wild how that goes. Right?
I know. Yeah. It was,
1 minute everything will be
well,
crazy and mayhem.
The U of A ASU game was tonight. So that
And I'm going to put the cups in front.
and like I was telling him, it seems like a different crowd downtown tonight. So, and football game in Phoenix brings that. You know?
Yeah. Like in a good way or a bad way, you think?
Just not your. I don't know. Just. I don't know. Have you been to Phoenix?
Not a long time. The last time was
like for some reason when I'm in Phoenix, I know this sounds weird, but I can tell when somebody's from the west side of Phoenix.
Really?
I don't know why, but just
is this like a demeanor attitude?
Yeah, yeah, and they kind of got it, you know. They got the west side attitude. There you go. He's got it. Doing good enough running with the couch tonight with my flashlight.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
I'm using
that
him.
Looks like actually a lot
I'm using him to block it.
back seat than
That'll work, right?
That looks like a lot smaller back seat.
The other way is
one of the worst ones, believe it or not, when they were using the Challengers.
Oh yeah.
And that thing, you better be 4 foot tall to fit back there.
Oh, really?
It was nasty.
So do those actually have plastic seats or
yes.
They're real seats?
They're plastic.
Oh, they are with the
You want plastic. You really want plastic.
What's that? No. They have like the sheriff's has like a fiberglass molded fucking.
They're like the ones I had because I used to be with us. So,
yeah.
It's like the ones I used to have over there. They were for the most part plastic.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is you got people like throw up back there. Back in like the 70s and the 80s, it was all the fabric.
Yeah.
And that fabric just kind of developed a memory of everybody you had back there.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Plastic is definitely
So did he call you over or you just came over?
I just thought. We just keep moving. You know, it's been a little hit and miss. We started out kind of crazy. Things kind of calmed down. Now they're going to kick it off again. So. Well, the other thing too is that they get. Luckily, it's the weekend. Rush hour in the morning. Things are going to kick off.
Oh yeah.
Highway is very different than city or county police. So,
yeah.
Just different kind of balls.
Yeah, you guys are more
just traffic. But maneuvering on the highway, that's a lot different. Just because it's very dangerous. People look for you. You have to try to do something out of the road. It's amazing. It's like almost people like equal sometimes. It feels crazy.
Dallas? Is he still working with you guys?
Yeah.
He's a nice guy. I had about an hour conversation. They had a big deadly crash on Craig Crown.
Yeah.
And he was telling me about when that happens, you guys are just spending all your time with all the idiots who have crashed into people down the line.
Yes. Oh yeah, I know that happens. These pileups, we do like one car accident causes like 6, 7 more car accidents. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. Hopefully they keep widening. It needs to be 3 lanes all the way through.
Oh,
that'll make life a lot easier.
It takes forever though for them to get it done. I mean, I'm trying to remember how long it took when they widened the section of road here between it was like when it came to the 19 and it was closed. I want to say it was something like 8 years.
Yes, Dave C. a crime is a crime.
You know, I lived up in Phoenix when they built the 51.
Yeah.
They built the highway in the middle of the neighborhood in like 2 years.
It's crazy, right? The efficiency of it.
Tucson, and you got Rothschild and his RTA, whatever. Like I moved up there and then I came back and all of a sudden they have this RTA going on.
Yeah.
The roads are still all fucked up. And then they have all these projects that cost billions of dollars to take forever.
Well, then you got like one that was like Rio de Nuevo where all the money just kind of disappeared. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm distracted. You still live, Tuck?
Yeah.
Man, I was licking boots, I'm sorry. Forgive me. Yeah, and then the $1 billion sports complex they're going to waste their money on over there.
Gosh, maybe like where the money goes. Like with all the taxes we pay on different stuff, you do property taxes, and sales taxes. You have to ask yourself sometimes, what are you getting for it?
Nothing. And then you've got Raytheon in this town, you've got the Air Force Base in this town, you've got the U of A, and these people don't do anything for this town. That's what's ridiculous.
That I don't know about, but I mean
You know, with Raytheon, how many times have you heard this road has been rebuilt by Raytheon? Thank you, Tucson, for all the hard work.
I've not heard that,
Never
but
heard
I know. I mean, I got a couple buddies that work at Raytheon, but
all my family works at Raytheon.
Really?
Oh yeah.
It's one of the few places in town that's like seems to be one of the better playing gigs out there. But
well, yeah, they kill people. I mean,
well, they make weapons, right?
Killing people is a money-making business, man.
It is, especially what's.
That's what you guys are in business to do sometimes.
It's debatable. I'd like to think we're doing it, not because we want to. I'll tell you that much.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah, well, I can only speak to my intents.
Sure.
The people I've talked to have been in it.
Yeah.
You carry that, man. It's not something you go home like your life is never the same.
Yeah.
A really good buddy was in it, and he's not the same man.
Really?
Not I don't want to say a bad way, but
Yeah.
like he's just not the same guy.
Sure.
He doesn't have that jovialness that he used to have.
Yeah.
The anniversary comes around.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's carry. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
Carry. I've been lucky.
Well, that's good.
Been in that position.
Well, I hope you never have to shoot.
I hope not either, man. I'll tell you what, knock on wood.
I'm trying to look. See, that's still like a regular seat.
It's no stick. It's hard plastic. I mean, it's.
But Davis Mountain, they bring a lot of people to town.
Oh, I know, and they don't. Yeah.
A lot of people that stay there and come back. That's what brought me here. Wasn't it Davis Mountain, I'd never be here.
Yeah.
A lot of folks come here and they stay. It's.
Yeah.
It's interesting how many people I know
And
who
if it
left
wasn't-
town here and they come back to raise a family. I've always kind of thought, it'd be kind of neat to go live someplace else, but it makes me a little nervous how many people come back.
And
here.
basically,
I've hated to eat my
when I came here
Me
because
too,
of,
right?
Yeah.
You get tired of those summers. They just beat you.
and that's why they brought a lot of people here, not because of Raytheon, but because of Hughes, because Hughes had the Tomahawk cruise missile before Raytheon did. They did it right here in Tucson.
Yes, they did, yeah.
That's where they trained. That's what I did. That's what I did. The Glickham system was built right here, and then all the people trained to do it was at Davis Mountain. We trained right where the Department of Homeland Security is now.
Okay.
That building. That's where
Yeah,
they trained. They put all that out there. Camis, everything up right there.
Yeah, it's kind of the same.
Because they wanted people to see it. It was a deterrent.
Yeah, yeah, that kind of
It wasn't.
The final smoke.
It's not that dramatic.
Very rare that it
Talk
happens,
about
to be honest.
wasting taxpayer money. After they signed, Reagan signed it in '88, they brought all the Tomahawk cruise missiles back here, $1.5 million a piece, chopped them up with chainsaws.
Well,
Right here.
There's your tax money right there
Yeah.
getting used, right?
But then, and then we went to the Soviet Union to chop their SS-20s up. That's,
Well, I don't know
But
how
they
you guys.
still make the Tomahawk.
they still
I
make
believe
the
so,
Tomahawk,
yeah. I believe
but
so.
but the system to put it in Europe, it was a NATO system, intermediate range made for Europe to hit Russia. First strike.
Wow.
And there ain't no such thing as a first strike. It was made as a tactical nuke to hit their nukes before they launched them. But if that ever happened, it would be exchanged. It ain't going to be one nuke and the war's over.
Especially
It's
with like the recent escalations between
Yeah.
Ukraine and Russia. It's like that region of the world has kicked off 2 previous world wars.
Yep.
And you're sitting there, it's like, now why are we have some good tulips to do
Why
it again?
are we? I mean, I like to live outside the matrix and the bubble and believe that the bankers and these people have brought us to war
Well,
quite a
it's
few times.
the
you know?
old Eisenhower military-industrial complex.
Oh, yeah.
I think he saw it leaving World War II.
Yeah, he said it.
He saw it and being president. He's like, these guys are getting insidious.
Yeah.
And it was that kind of warning that no one really understood until
I know.
you look back 50 years later. Like,
And then in 1963, there was another guy who he gave a warning, and then he had a
shot him.
nice speech,
Yeah.
and then his brains were splattered all over the road. You know what I
That
mean?
would be very interesting to see in our lifetime with that full file. I'm hoping Trump will release the full file.
Let's hope he can make it there. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
if there's people who were
Man,
able
this
to,
place is busy.
I mean, anybody that thinks that there was a three named guy on the 6th floor of whatever,
It's
I
definitely
think we're all
suspicious.
past that point.
Yeah,
in
it's definitely
life, you know what I
suspicious.
mean?
especially, I guess.
So it's kind of scary.
I mean, I'm not an expert on it or nothing,
Yeah.
but I had understood like his apartment had been wiped. Like he had no silverware.
Yeah.
He had like, I don't quote me on any of this, but this
Yeah.
is stuff I've heard through the grapevine. But like he
Sure.
may have had like several cell phones.
Oh yeah.
Like bank accounts on offshore places,
yeah.
like stuff that's just like this is peculiar. So
Yeah, and I mean, you got George Bush was in Dallas that day and can't remember why he was there, even though he was the head of the CIA. You had John Hinckley, his brother, went to dinner with Bushes the day before Reagan was shot. I mean, all kinds of weird stuff that goes on, you know?
Not to mention
The Bin Ladens hang out, eat dinner, and party with the Bushes, and I mean, it's weird stuff.
Was it Alan Dulles too who led the investigation after JFK was shot?
Yeah.
You know, and JFK fired him.
Yeah.
You know, for
Yeah.
all his ranklings in the CIA.
Oh yeah, and then you got the E. Howard Hunt supposedly got arrested on the railroad tracks, and then he was the one that broke into Watergate. Like,
That's another one I'm hearing. This is the crazy part is like all the conspiracy theories that you hear that used to be so quickly dismissed.
Well.
And now you sit there and you're like, I have to seriously entertain these things sometimes.
for
Like,
sure.
because things that you used to take on face value,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
sometimes you can't take them on face value.
I know. And the bad thing is you work for the beast.
I get
I mean,
I get what you're saying. The only thing is,
I think that everybody needs to start tattling on each other. That's what I think. Everybody needs to just spill. We need to say, all right, we're going to give 10 of you on this side, 10 of you this side immunity. Just spill it. Just spill it. Everybody else, whoever doesn't come here with the first 10, you're all going to prison forever.
well, did you get like the gulag system? Have you read Gulag Acapella?
Well, we do.
Gulag
We
Archipelago?
do. It's called treason, and that's death is the penalty.
Well, I don't know. Like this is the guy who wrote it was imprisoned by the Russians during pre-World War II and during World War II, and he talks about everything that like was done to him, what he investigated, found out was done to other people, and like it was one of those things where literally it just came down to the state would grab you, torture the shit out of you, get names out of you, then they would arrest those people, and it became this system where Beria, who was the head of, I can never remember all these Russian pronunciations for these different like blue, like they call it the blue hat police forces, things like that. But they were still like the sole political police that just spent their time rounding up whoever got essentially paid.
Yeah, but see, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about people who are one side or the other. I'm talking about the people who work in our fucking government that are all criminals. These people are all doing insider trading. These people are all crooks. And with digital technology these days, trust me, I'm sure there's dirt on all of these people. That's why they're doing the things they're doing.
Well, it's like what the insider trading in Congress, and the only fine they get is like $200.
Yeah.
You know, something like completely clownish like that. It's
Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi's a better stock trader than Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
You know, it's like okay.
Oh yeah.
You gotta. That's a tall order right there.
It is.
To buy that you're just lucky, right?
Yeah.
So
Interesting stuff.
very much so. Okay. Cool.
I know the real story. In 1969, we went to the moon to plan the World Trade Center bombing. The 3 astronauts. They went to the moon. They always say we didn't go to the moon, so I think they went there to.
Interesting one. Have you heard? I think his name is Bart Seibel.
Yeah,
He's someone who punched.
Bart Sibrel.
Or I'm sorry, Bart Sibrel. Thank you. He, I keep
got
saying Neil
punched,
Armstrong.
yeah, he
Buzz
got
Aldrin punched him because when he confronted him. I actually read his book. I was curious just to hear his argument, and it's an interesting argument, right? Like I can't say, I'm not saying one way or another, but it was an interesting argument.
I'm 51 years old, and All the Right Stuff came out, and I think like '83. And when that movie came out, that's when I decided that the moon landing wasn't real. Why are you spending a 3-hour movie showing me these guys on, and then nothing about the fucking moon? It's all about. It was very weird.
It's weird.
And from then, I'm like, no, I don't buy it.
Have you seen Fly Me to the Moon?
Yeah.
The new one?
Yeah.
That was an interesting take.
You want to know a movie that you should check out? In the 1970s, they came out with a movie called Capricorn 1 with O.J. Simpson.
Oh, really?
And the other guy's name. You know, he was like the movie star in like the TV shows, and I can't remember his name. Anyways, you should check that one out.
Okay, Capricorn 1.
Capricorn 1, like really well done movie, and it never got any airtime or play because the whole movie premise is, I shouldn't tell you, but they fake the moon landings and they fly these people over to a hangar, and then they put them in this hangar.
Hey, Christopher Rupp.
And then
Welcome in.
they're going to end up killing these people, and then a pretty interesting movie, and it makes you think even harder. Man, why have I never heard of this movie?
It's interesting, right?
Yeah.
Well, so apparently I've not read the book, but Bill
Yep.
Clinton, when he wrote his,
You
I don't know if it was
smoked
being
at my house.
but like he left the presidency, he wrote a book about
Sure.
being president, right?
Yeah.
And apparently in his like, I guess it'd be his preface, he had written that like when he was a kid, he was like just working as a carpenter, and the moon landing happened. And he goes to work the next day, and the guy he's working with is like, "Hey, we landed on the moon." And the guy's like, "I don't believe what those guys say about what happens, on the TV, right?"
Sure.
And he said when he became president, he started thinking that guy was ahead of his time, and he just kind of leaves it there.
Yeah.
And you're like left to the interpretation of,
Sure.
Are you saying something specific about the moon?
Yeah.
Are you saying something just government in general? Like, why leave it there without further explanation, right? And then you look at some of the interviews of like the astronauts after the landing, how they hold the hostages in front of that panel.
Yeah.
And then
Oh yeah,
and
I
then
know.
Buzz Aldrin talking about like peeling back the protective layers of truth, and it's like, is he just a guy just like a little more socially awkward? He's just phrasing it awkwardly, or is he?
Mind me asking how old you are? 41. Okay. So we've grown up, and all these people that win the Super Bowl, they're on TV every day, all day, and millionaires.
Yeah.
These people have done something that hardly anybody in the universe has done. And you didn't hear people about it. They weren't out there with a fanfare. They were really quiet, reserved. Like, yeah, they're obviously they think. I mean, it's obvious.
The Van Allen belts, right? Like
that's
supposedly
the
radiation that we can't pass, or nobody. All I know is what I've read here, heard there.
Listen to your mom.
My mom,
She was waving at you. Well, we found a conspiracy theory DPS agent.
Yeah.
Almost dead. 10%.
Oh yeah.
What do you got in there?
24.
Yeah.
Christopher Rupp was in there.
Christopher Ruff. Good evening, sir.
You're still here, Christopher Rupp?
Hey man, aren't you just like 30, 40 miles to swing on by?
Yeah, so the Van Allen belts is what kind of has me puzzled, because it's like, so apparently, once again, don't know this for sure,
Yeah.
but apparently there was a nuclear weapon that was fired in the 70s to blow a hole through the Van Allen belt.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder, like, if that is true, which I don't know if it's true, but if it is, why do that if that's not some sort of a covering barrier to get to where you want to go?
Sure.
So, but it's like, I don't know, that seems interesting to me, because I've heard the counter argument is that it's not enough radiation, that the spacecraft can actually, push enough of that radiation out of the way that it's not causing the astronauts any harm.
Tinfoil? Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, this is way above my pay grade, right?
I've already made up my mind. I don't argue with people anymore.
Yep.
Well,
We're at the point in world history
Everybody
in
gets
the
their
United
share.
States where when I was 20 years old, I felt uncomfortable telling people that. 51 years old, I say, fuck you. If you don't believe me, I don't care.
Well,
I don't believe we win.
And
Prove me wrong.
it's one of those things where it's like, it's clear that things get more and more divided. So we're just not watching the same movie, on side right?
Yeah, we're not going to the Taylor Swift concert. Get those bracelets. I'm telling you.
That's one way of putting it.
I'm telling you. There may be something. My sister lost her fucking mind.
Over like Taylor Swift stuff?
Yeah, she's 55 years old.
Just can't
she
get
goes to
enough.
the Taylor Swift concert. She talked to my mom. My mom's been to my niece's birthdays.
Billy the
21
Kid,
out of 22
welcome.
years, and they were scheduled to go out there. And the morning after the election, she calls my mom. She goes, "The trip's canceled. You guys aren't coming, and you'll be lucky if I talk to you by next year." And then her husband woke up, and she said, "Cancel all your plans. We're not doing anything, and I'm not talking to you." She hasn't talked to her husband in like a month.
It's all over politics?
Yes, because her president didn't win. Like lost her mind.
That's what kind of gets kind of frightening. It's
It
like
does.
those like kind of similar echoes in the beginning of the American Civil War. It's like you just can't.
Yeah.
Can't.
You know what the good thing
talk
is though? That side's all afraid of him.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, definitely. The Second Amendment's very important for sure. Founders were not fools when they put together what they put together.
No, for sure. But I think to myself, I'm 51 years old. I don't want to be rolling around playing fucking GI Joe.
You get too old for this shit,
Yeah.
man, right? Like, you know, it's not like you're 20 where you can get blown, you know, halfway across the world. I sneezed, like, pull a back muscle now.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
It's like, I cannot imagine what it's like to be like one of these guys. You see, like, this drone warfare going on in Ukraine.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, what a new level of terror. Those guys, anytime they hear a buzzing over their head, the rest of their lives, like,
Yeah.
it's interesting too. Like, you're going almost back to World War I, warfare again. We're doing trench warfare.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like you don't have that kind of. Like,
You know the bizarrest thing about this is it's so hard to quantify that you work for the government, and you know we're all on a different political side, but it's at the end of the day our government who's doing that. You know what I mean? It's so crazy.
Yeah.
Well, that's gonna be the big thing, right? So
Yeah,
people
he's-
coming out over the years.
Chris,
I'm kind of more
yep,
like
he was.
paperwork side of it.
Was he in yours too?
It's like what they call UAP now, or UFOs, things like that.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
define
yeah.
what does the government have, you know, that kind of thing. Like, there was a book that just came out. A guy who worked for the Defense Department. It's kind of interesting. I said, how is all?
He worked for the government?
Yeah, he was.
Oh, he's a liar.
Well, he was. He's
He's a
Defense
liar.
Department. But he's actually whistleblowing the fact they have this.
Oh yeah, well,
So I
like I
don't
said,
think-
I think that's the big psyop.
Well,
So
I've heard that too.
if you look up, I'll give you something.